We welcome everyone. Today we want to talk about efficient delegation and possible problems and nuances associated with it.
The speakers for you will be me, Sofia, Brich, and Lera, Martsul, students of 914 Business Administration Group, and we're looking forward to starting.
In the field of management, there are many tools and approaches. Some of them are basic, others follow. But anyway, a huge number of managers discover the personal management by trial and error.
Delegation is one of the basic tools of Lera that most people know about, but they often turn to him too late, believing that the time has not yet to come to delegate. Unfortunately, this can lead to not very good results.
Now we will tell you what delegation is, why it's needed and when to start delegating, how to delegate correctly and where mistakes can be made, for us as for future managers. This information will be quite useful.
First, let's define delegation. In this, as in many other cases, Wikipedia will help. Delegation is the process of transferring part of the functions of a manager to other managers or employees to achieve specific goals of the organization. In general, it sounds clear. You would think that there is nothing complicated in delegation. We are sure that most of you are constantly faced with delegation and somehow use this tool daily in your life. However, incidents sometimes occur due to the misuse of the delegation tool.
Here is a good example. As you can see in the picture, work processes are arranged in separate units, but the company as a whole is clearly moving somewhere in the wrong direction. Here is another example. Everything looks structurally correct, everyone is in their place, but at the same time people do not feel very well. Why is this happening? Why do such management errors occur?
Let us return to the definition of delegation and carefully read it again. What catches the eye in the first place? A part of the functions, but that's not all. It is possible to give powers without responsibility, but this can lead to disastrous consequences. And to give responsibility without authority means that manager could not realize the delegated responsibility.
So Henry Fayol, a French mining engineer, theorist and practitioner of management, one of the founders of the classical school of management, believed this. Power should not be considered separately from liability. Responsibility is a consequence of authority.
Thus, we conclude that responsibility and authority for its implementation should be delegated only together. In this case, power should be delegated exactly as much as is necessary for the implementation of responsibility.
Why it's needed? Firstly, professional growth of employees. Obviously, if you do not share with your subordinates part of the work that you do every day, they will never learn how to do it. The same applies to you as a leader. If you do not delegate, then you will never learn this.
Risk minimization. If someone is sick or on a vacation or fired, but there is still someone else to whom part of the work will be delegated.
And also, increasing employee motivation, increasing trust in the team, verification of the performance of subordinates.
When to start delegation? How many people should be subordinate? It is generally accepted that the optimal size of the department is 6-12 people. If there are more people, it becomes much more difficult to manage. And you can start as soon as you understand that you can entrust this task to a professional who will do it better than you. Moreover, if in addition to this, you have other things that you must do yourself, then you should definitely give the contractors everything else that is possible.
We have compiled a list of actions that must be performed during delegation. It includes: choose a person who will perform the task well, formulate the goal, determine the result, confirm the timeline, identify rights and obligations, provide the contractor with all the resources necessary to solve the problem, motivate. Make sure that the person to whom you delegate responsibilities understands everything correctly, support and control the employee during the execution process. We have compiled a list of actions that must be performed during delegation. It includes: choose a person who will perform the task well, formulate the goal, determine the result, confirm the timeline, identify rights and obligations, provide the contractor with all the resources necessary to solve the problem, motivate. Make sure that the person to whom you delegate responsibilities understands everything correctly, support and control the employee during the execution process.
Mistakes. Delegation to a group without assigning a person in charge. When everyone is responsible for something, in fact, no one is responsible. Delegation without taking into account the capabilities of the performer. Responsibility and means for its implementation must be given in exactly the amount necessary to solve the problem.
Delegation of other people's tasks. If the responsibility is not with you, how can you transfer it to someone else or share it with someone else? Delegation of small tasks without specifying a goal. When an employee doesn't understand a common goal, he is unlikely to be well motivated and complete the task with due responsibility.
Delegation of goals without instruction. This happens when you say where you need to come, but do not say how. Delegation without timelines. If you entrust an employee with a task and do not indicate the final goal, steps, or deadlines, it is very likely that the task will not be solved.
Delegating of uninteresting tasks. Lack of feedback or control.
Perfectionism and impatience. And finally, a complete transfer or responsibility.
And you can often hear from the manager: if you want to do it well, do it yourself. This is also a very common mistake.
So, we hope that we managed to convey to the audience that delegation is not difficult. Yes, it can be done wrong, but how to do it right, we know also figured out.
We just want to recall that delegation and all of the above are not the only strategies for working with people. The manager's arsenal has many more tools. Look wider and maximize the resources you have.
Thank you for your attention.